for another edition of the Full Throttle Sim Racing Mach1 Performance Cup Series. It's 1 week away from the season finale. This time we're coming at you live from the simulated Watkins Glen, where you saw the Cup guys just do it in Xfinity this past weekend. They produced some awesome racing, and expecting nothing different from these guys at Full Throttle Sim Racing at the virtual world. 25 drivers coming in tonight to tackle this 2.45 mile, 8-turn road course. And the weather right now looking pretty good. Right now, the track temp's at 112, 83 in the air, with some pretty good gusts, up to 9 miles an hour coming out of the west at the moment. But watching the practice, these guys have not really felt that, so to speak. And these guys are turning on some pretty awesome laps and very consistent laps across the whole board here. Right now, we're coming a little late, a little on the call here because it is a 10-minute qualifying session. So I like to give these guys all the time in the world to get these laps turned and talk about things and how practice went. But as always, my name is Jay Stan, and to my right-hand shoulder here is Mr. Poshibi Neck. How's it going, man?
Yeah, it's going pretty good, Jeremy. Nice to see another road course here. I know the first one we had was Sonoma. That's producing pretty good racing. And, one last race before that crazy finale. We're going to have a Daytona next week.
Daytona should be amazing, especially for a season finale. I don't know how many people do that to end the season, especially with the points how they are. Chuck and Rich here at a virtual tie, essentially here. 1 point separates them. Mr. Richie Coy does have the point, does have the advantage there, but 1 point potentially going into Daytona like that, that's basically no advantage at all. That's a complete toss-up. So these guys are trying anything they can at Watkins Glen to kind of capitalize to get any type of advantage possible heading into Daytona next week.
I mean, it's just one wreck or one mistake, and that could even happen just tonight in itself. It doesn't have to be, at Daytona. If something happens tonight, Jeremy, we got 25 cars in the field, as you mentioned. You finish outside the top 20 and one of the other guys finishes inside top 5. That's going to be a huge point swing there as well. So these last two races are going to be critical, and you want to try and keep it clean, but also finish up towards the front as well.
Yeah, it's so difficult too at Watkins Glen. The pressure's on. It's a really fast track. If you make a mistake, it could easily just ruin your day. We know these the suspension in these cars and the axles are held together by toothpicks. So if you hit the wall a little too hard, your day is done early. The only positive note is it's a road course. So if you have a 8-minute required repair, it doesn't put you 5 or 6 laps down. It'll be a lot less time, but either way, you got to keep the car clean if you want to be up there, especially with 25 drivers. That's a huge number. So if you have an issue early on, that's potentially, make or break your championship that you've worked so hard for when it comes down to it with Richie and Chuck Sweeting.
Yeah, and you just mentioned it being just super fast out there on the track and going up through the S's, coming out of the chicane there. There's a lot of points here where you can, maybe miss your braking a little bit and run off the track and, either get into the gravel or you could put it into the wall a little bit there. And there's just so many ways that you can lose it around the track. So definitely have to be on it, be careful, but, you still want to be fast. And speaking of fast, I mean, we were watching practice right before we came on, and Richie Coy was taking that last spot, but Nicholas Moreau snuck in, Jeremy, with half a second faster there on that qualifying lap. And we know he led 48 laps at Sonoma earlier this year and took the win. So I think he's trying to double down on the road courses.
Yeah, he snuck in really late there in that practice session. We're kind of analyzing how things are going, and 111 seemed to be the way to go. And then all of a sudden, Moreau comes out here and just smashes a 10.4 in practice and a 10.5 in qualifying, almost an entire second in front of second place. Jonathan Varanoskis at this point with 5.5 left in this qualifying session. So not surprised to see Moreau up front. I think that's going to secure his 9th pole as long as everything sits for the next 5 minutes. We still have about 6 or 7 drivers without a lap time, so that could change. But right now he's sitting in a pretty good position, I would say.
Yeah, it looks like the 42 Kyle Milken, he's on the track right now making his first lap. So we know he still has one to complete on there as well. We got another driver on there as well going through, Chris Curtis. I think he just finished his lap. So there's a couple guys out there that's still trying to make a couple laps before this thing. They got 10 minutes. They got plenty of time to make it on this one.
Absolutely. And Usually we kick it over right when qualifying is starting, but since we start at qualifying on the road course side, we are halfway through the session. That means it's our time to knock our faces off your screen and start thanking our sponsors. Allow us to do this every Monday night for you guys here on Nerd TV. FTSR.net. This is the league that you're watching right now. If you want to join in next season, they have a complete different charter system where your owner pays you the team to get onto the track, and then they send contracts out to drivers. It's a really cool, I think it's a one-of-a-kind thing, really. I don't know of any other league at the moment, at least off the top of my head, that does this kind of thing. Brings everything realistic to the real NASCAR world, to the sim world, but a lot cheaper price point, of course, because these things are digital. So, anyways, if you like all the racing that you've seen this season and the past season, they're all 2022, and you want to be a part of it for the third season, FTSR.net. Go ahead and get yourself registered, find yourself a team, or start your own team and recruit your own drivers. Either way, they're looking to recruit, and they got 25 guys tonight. So the Cup Series is doing really well. But some of the other series, the 1987 Cup cars are looking for a huge turnout there. So if you want to get a part of that action, FTSR.net. Thank you to Mach1 Performance Cup Series sponsor every Monday night here at Full Throttle. Fabrication shop that if they're in your area, please take your car there if you need some fabrication work done. They produce champions from dirt and pavement oval racing and multiple series across the board when it comes to short track stuff. So that's you're going to find them on Facebook. It's going to be on facebook.com/Mach1 Performance. Thank you to Sim Racing Points, Truck Series sponsor every Wednesday night and part of the Nerds. It's all inclusive league points management system. Take your export, you upload it, and boom, you have stats across the board in a really professional, clean, full page website layout. Or if you like the widgets, you can also do that as well. Whatever your website needs and your league needs, really. Sim Racing Points got your back. And they come at a really good price point as well. So check out everything at simracingpoints.com. Martin Sports, thank you guys for the continued support over here at the Nerditudes. The home of the sim gloves of all of sim racing. And they also make customized shirts, hoodies, hats, t-shirts, anything from your waist up. And if you do like the t-shirt order, they got the full dye jersey style shirts. So whatever your team needs in the sim world or any world, if you're playing softball or, any type of sporting event, period, and you guys need some jerseys, Martin Sports at Martin Sports 906 has your back. And you're going to use Super Nerd at checkout for 25% off. Thank you to iRacing iFlag, flag partner for the Nerditudes. It kind of completes your sim rig, gives you up to 38 different iRacing command or notifications rather, from a little LED system. It's not too big. It's about 4x6, 3D printed. Just kind of tucks away, and it's really bright. So whatever notification iRacing is going to give you, this is going to keep you focused on the track because you know exactly what's going on around you with this system. And if you like to get one yourself, head over to iRacingIFlag.com. Super Nerd at checkout. This time, 15% off. Shout out to the Butt Kicker, audio enhancement partner for the Nerditudes. If you want to bring all the bumps and feels of the track and all the sounds and hapticness that the car produces into your computer seat, this is the product that you want. So head over to thebuttkicker.com. Use that checkout code NERDTV. This time it's going to give you 20% off. Shout out to Moonlight Speed over at moonlightspeed.com, the official paved setup provider for the Nerditudes. So anything from the Advanced Legends all the way to the Cup cars, these guys have your back. And they're going to give you some much-needed wins that you're looking for. And you got just a few weeks left in the actual iRacing season before they kick it over to Season 4, I do believe it is at this point. So that's moonlightspeed.com. And shout out to houseofspeed.us to take care of the dirt setup stuff here for the nerds. So if you want to win anything dirt oval related, this is the place to go. Awesome setups no matter what kind of racing surface you're on, tacky or slick. They got your back. So that's houseofspeed.us. And then lastly, Nerd Focus, official energy partner for the Nerditudes. So if you like sugar, the green label right there on your screen, that's the one to pick up. And if you don't want sugar, then you're going to get the blue label. Only two options, very simple, sugar or not. And they're both awesome flavor. and they're going to keep you focused for hours on end. And use Super Nerd at checkout when you do pick up a case, and this is going to save you 10% off. All right, looks like qualifying is complete for this evening's race setup here for 51 laps at Watkins Glen. Nicholas Moreau does hold the point. Got some surprise people up here, Ken. Nicholas Moreau, P1. Kyle Milliken, P2. Jonathan Varanoskis sitting in third place. Tony Solari in fourth. Richie Coy in fifth. Lane Allen sixth. On seventh place is Alex Murphy. Brandon Elder making a qualifying attempt here in eighth place. Brian Dublé ninth, and to round out the top 10, Brody Hanna.
Rolling off in 11th is going to be the 4-car of Chad Lang. 12th is Brian Bliss. 13th is Martin Garreau. 14th is going to be James Wallace. 15th, Chris Curtis. 16th, Chris Beck. 17th is going to be Joshua Johnson. 18th, his teammate Ryan Hedrick. 19th is going to be Wayne Grossi. 20th, Ryan Chapman. 21st is Justin Diltz. And then the cars that not make a qualifying lap, you got 22nd is Steve Loomis. 23rd, Josh Mayu. 24th is going to be Gil Gok. And his teammate starting in 25th position is your second points, Jeremy, and rolling on 25th, Chuck Sweeting.
Very interesting call by Mr. Chuck. We know there's been countless times this season where he is not qualified, but he still finds his way up in the top 5, no problem. But this is a road course. It's a little different. With these guys that are, running in the 112s, 113s, that's 2 seconds off the pace, and you got to pass these guys. You got to hit your marks and get around them quick. And at a road course, it's not the easiest feat. So kind of curious to know what kind of call he has, what kind of strategy Mr. Chuck's going to play out here in this 51-lap race. He's got a lot of work. He's got to keep that car cleaned up to Richie Coy, who's starting in 5th.
That kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, and earlier when we got on the broadcast there is the difference that you could have is finishing outside the top 20 and inside the top 5. I mean, right now he's already, like you say, he's going to have to go through all those drivers, make his way through, and hopefully he doesn't get get into anybody or have anybody get into him. And it's going to be a strategy. We'll see if he's going to try to make his way up through the field or if he's going to hang back. I mean, we do have 51 laps, so there's some time to get around here. But you're playing with fire as we were mentioning earlier.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a 2-stop strategy. It could be a 1-stop. If he makes it a 2-stop, pit early and you don't have any. Depends on where he comes to the field. If he can charge the field real quick, maybe he does a 1-stopper. But maybe he also thinks that turn 1's going to be a crazy zone. Maybe he's going to just take it super easy into that corner, give up some time early. But if the wreck happens mid-pack, he's avoided it, right? So could be the strategy call there. This track, they recently, I think this past year, brought out the new version of Watkins Glen to iRacing, which the rumble strips are a lot wider. You have the asphalt there on the exit side of turn 1. The asphalt's really stretched out here coming through the end of the carousel. There's a lot of runoff areas, so a little more areas to avoid some wrecks and pick up some speed, and I think we're going to see a lot of that excess asphalt used tonight.
Yeah, and this isn't just a regular open race either, so you're going to see those guys use that runoff and not worry about that 1X that the iRacing is going to give them. So use all the room we saw yesterday just on that final restart with Kyle Larson diving in on Chase Elliott and taking that spot and taking the win. I mean, I'm sure we'll see something like that as well, and it could be on the first lap. So it's going to be a good one, Jeremy. I'm excited for it.
Absolutely, yeah. That last restart you mentioned, there was, I think, the top 10, maybe top 15, all weren't even on the actual racing surface. They're all way wide past the rumble strip section. They were just using every ounce of the track. iRacing does not care on the league side of things how many X's you get, as long as the admin doesn't throw any penalties out there for it. But green flag is out. They head off into turn number 1. Looks like Moreau's going to take the point here over second place. Kyle Milliken going to single file out first, second, third, fourth, fifth. Real simply there. And then mid-pack here looks like they're still pretty racy. They're side by side, about 10th place through the S's.
Yeah, as they're moving their way through the S's, not seeing any contact. Everyone's kind of fanning out. You see the 42 there get a little bit sideways. He's coming out of the S's, but he's able to hold on
contact.
to it. Oh, we got a little contact.
Yep, sorry to cut you off there. Joshua Johnson, early contact there with the 67. James Wallace, still a little tire spin through turn number 3 on the uphill side of the S. Makes contact to him, but only injures himself as he goes to the grass. Does not look like anybody else was involved. Good save there by the 57.
Yeah, that's not what you want to start of the race, especially with two teammates there with the 67 and 57. But is able to get it going, so good for him. No harm, no foul. Didn't get others involved. But as all that's going on, Jeremy, the 15 of Nicholas Moreau is just pulling away from the 42 of Kyle Milliken, who went a little bit wide there coming out of the chicane. So he's trying to get his car in handle, but still having a good battle here. Looks like Nicholas Moreau, though, is going to lead that first lap.
Yeah, he's got a huge lead, too. Looks like it's over a half a second here as they come across the line for lap number 1 of scheduled 51. It's actually a 1.5 second difference between these two guys. But second, third, fourth, fifth, those guys are all within reaching distance of one another.
Ooh, we got spin. 18 going around over there in turn 1.
Yep, 18, Brian Bliss, turn 1, just came into the corner. A little too easy, and the 50 of Martin Grove came in a little too hot, just dove it into his right rear quarter panel, sent him wide, and Wayne Grossi, unfortunately, too, hits the 18 nose-to-nose as soon as the 18 got settled and stopped on the exit. So a couple drivers with damage in that one on lap number 2.
Yeah, definitely not what you want to see there, head-on collision by those guys. And you know, Jeremy, I'm kind of looking through the field trying to see if I can find Chuck Sweeting, and he did not make the race. He's not on track right now, unless I'm just overlooking him, but I do not see him on track.
Well, that changes up the point system a little bit now, doesn't it? So I did not mention that Brody Hanna is only 17 points out, too. That's of his teammate Richie Coy heading into this thing. So there's still a chance that Brody Hanna can make Daytona happen and be a miracle race for him and take over that championship. Being Daytona the way it is, it's anyone's ball game. But yeah, I can confirm Chuck Sweeting did not make tonight's race. He made practice, so hopefully everything's okay at his camp. But that's a good heads up on your part, and unfortunate to see for the 75.
Yeah, I was looking through, and I was want to see how he made it through that wreck there, and pick up a couple spots and nowhere to be found. So him and Gilgok, his teammate. But needless to say, back onto the action we got here. We got these guys we got the 11, Tony Solari going around the chicane there. Just avoided by his teammate, the 19, Richie Coy, and the 14, Lane Allen, got awfully close to him as he would come back onto the track. But I was sitting there watching Richie Coy, and I heard some tires squeal, and sure enough, his teammate there, Tony Solari, went around. Yeah,
it's really hot through the bus stop there. Hit that curb right in the middle of the first part of that section on the left-hander side, and just cooked the tires, sent it sideways, and he had a 14, Lane Allen, great heads up, had to cut through the grass a little bit, but didn't at all. So no cars were hurt in that one. Good to see that. Also in the chats, we haven't mentioned in the chats here in a couple weeks, but Simon Magden saying, let's go Rumble Racing, cheering on his teammates around the track here at Watkins Glen, as we are currently on lap number 4.
Yeah, we got one of them sitting in third place right now. So Jonathan Varanoskis looking like a good run. We know he's good on these road courses. Won a couple of the truck races last season, so he's going to definitely be a contender up there. Kind of looking back through, Jeremy, Nicholas Moreau is just still keeping nice and steady. I think he's reached out about 2.5 second lead as well, so he's still doing good. And kind of mentioning back to these cautions, that's what it's nice about road courses. One guy goes around, even if you have a couple of them go around, as long as everyone gets through it and there's no big pile up, they're keeping it racing. They're keeping it green flag and let everyone race it out. So unless there's going to be a big pile up here, we might not see a yellow tonight.
I do believe it's going to be local cautions only. I don't think there's going to be a full yellow flag scenario with the league. Brody likes to keep this league as is per what iRacing wants to call. He does not like throwing cautions and flags. That's not warranted, more so than what iRacing thinks. So I think there's not going to be a full course. So it's just kind of race your race, keep your car clean, because you're not getting any assistance from the iRacing crew for a caution. So, but going back to what you were saying about Varanoskis, yeah, certainly running really good. Currently in third place still, 4.5 back from Nicholas Moreau. Really good on the road courses, and he was actually top 2, top 3 in the most of the practice session as well. So it's no surprise to us after seeing his practice runs that he's running up there in the top 3. And right behind him, though, 19, Richie Coy, your points leader, trying to extend everything he can possible over Chuck's absence and Brody Hanna, his teammate. He's moved one spot up, and he's actually gaining on the leader a little bit.
Yeah, and we were mentioning a couple weeks ago too, that he might enjoy going into Daytona as not having to worry about the points, and this might have been the saving grace here with Chuck going out, and depending on how much he can gain on Brody here throughout the race. Right now, he's sitting 6 spots ahead of him, so be looking at about 23 points, which is a pretty good chunk. So he still might get his wish here going into the last race, but watching the races here, I would not want to see that, because I'd like to see a battle there at Daytona between two people battling it out. So hopefully they can keep it pretty close, and we'll still have a battle next week. But so far, the Fury Motorsports guys running up front like we were expecting them to do. Sitting 4th for Richie, 6th Tony Solari, and then Brody Hanna inside the top 10 and 9th as well. So they definitely have their setup down this race.
Yeah, I think Brody this season has had a much better long run car than his teammates, Tony Solari and even Richie Coy. So Brody has things figured out on the long run side. We're only lap 6. Depending on how the strategy works with the fuel and the tire combination, we might see Brody pick up a few spots and get a little bit closer to his teammate Richie Coy. That'll kind of tighten up things a little bit there. If there's 25 cars that show up next week at Daytona, things aren't over. Brody just has to hope that, it's kind of a weird spot. You hope your teammate doesn't do bad. You hope he does well, but at the same time, you got championship gold in front of you. So you kind of like, hey, just kind of mess up a little early on for me. I would like to have a shot at the gold as well. So, it's kind of a weird predicament for the team owner, Brody Hanna, but at the end of the day, he's going to be happy nonetheless.
Yeah, and it's going to be Daytona. I mean, you're going to try to work with your teammates as much as you can, but just one wrong move, and that's all she wrote. But speaking of Brody Hanna, he's got quite his hands full. He's got Brian Dubois right in front of him. He's trying to work on as they're going through the S's, but then right behind him, he's got Chad Lang in the 4 car with Brandon Elder right behind him. So you've got quite a battle going on between these 4 cars amongst themselves. But once Brody if he can get around Brian here, he's going to set his sights on Alex Murphy, who was pretty close, but he's kind of stretched it out with these guys battling it out. As you see right there, Chad Lang right on the back bumper of Brody Hanna as they're going through the bus stop there.
Yeah, Chad Lang's actually running that line that we saw this past week through the iRacing E-Series. They got there in the professional side. We saw some onboards like from Michael Conti on that last lap pass there on Tuesday. Just really saw on the wheel and running the line that we talked about there during the pace lap, where X's don't count. You can go off the track as many times as you want. You're not going to get black flagged for it. So I've been watching Chad Lang. His line is definitely extending these corners as much as possible, but ramping a lot of these curbs. And it seems to be working out for him. The long run's paying off. He doesn't have to make the corner so tight, able to save a little bit extra tire wear. We're going to see more of a conservative line this time, but he runs really wide there and just kind of straightens out his car a little bit to enter the S's, which if your car's a little loose, that'll help some things out. So pay attention to people's their different racing styles here tonight.
And Richie Coy and Tony Solari, both of them, I was watching both those battles. They were both battling it out with Lane Allen and the 27 there, Jonathan Varanoskis, and they passed them both going into the bus stop. Tony made his pass, and Richie made his, so they were both working on those drivers. Good battle there between those two, and now you got Tony Solari in the 11 chasing down Jonathan, trying to get up behind him and get himself into that even further into the top 5.
Yeah, Tony Solari, as far as Fury Motorsports goes, he is the guy to go to for the setups. He did really well at Sonoma. Dirt, he does pretty good. There's no more dirt on the schedule, at least for this year. But this being the road course, I'm sure they're leaning on Tony Solari pretty hard as far as tips on how to get around this track. A little better, and it seems to be doing pretty all right. If he can get around Varanoskis, that'll put him, 3rd and 4th. They just got to get Brody Hanna to get up there. He's currently fallen back to 9th, or I guess technically he's moved up 1 spot to 9th place. Just kind of hanging back right outside or inside the top 10.
And you got to think too, Tony Solari had that spin there too coming out of the bus stop, so that cost him a couple of spots as well. Without that, he might be sitting there possibly running in 2nd place without that spin. So let's see how it plays out, as he's basically top 4 guys other than top 5, other than Nicholas Moreau. They're all right here together as they're seeing a little battle between all these drivers. Richie Coy right in front of these guys. But yeah, that's definitely the setup to watch with that when it's a Tony Solari setup. And it worked out at Sonoma. Tony was 2nd, Richie was 3rd, and then Brody coming home in 6th. So they definitely got the road course set down with Tony Solari. But we got a battle on our hands with these guys.
Coming through turn number 7 now and entering turn number 8. Solari is all over the back bumper of Varanoskis right now. Wanting to get around him to get next to his teammate, which we're starting to see Richie Coy kind of fall back a little bit as Kyle Milliken starting to pull away just a little bit further on him. But if you noticed, I just want to go back to your race leader. He's 9.2 seconds ahead of second place Kyle Milliken on lap 10. So he's got a second advantage almost per lap. So he's setting the pace. He's really setting the standard. This kind of almost reminds me of Sonoma there, where I think it was, I'm pretty sure it was Moreau that had that huge lead and then had an issue with about 5 laps to go in the truck. So hopefully, we don't see that per se. Broadcaster's curse, knock on wood. 27 gets a little loose. As I was saying that through the S's, he saves it and brings 11 right to his bumper once again. Pretty good racing overall here for the top 5.
Yeah, close call there. And yeah, just a little tire spin in the truck race, put him in the wall, and that's all she wrote, and wasn't able to carry on. So hopefully nothing like that happens. I mean, he dominating car. Definitely had the lead for it. So, and it made up for it though at Sonoma in the Cup Series. I think ended up winning by like 21, almost 22 seconds. So, trying to do that again, at Watkins Glen here. But so far so good. They're just putting on a good pace, and these guys are still battling back, even though they're single file now. And Richie Coy's kind of kept it even with Kyle Milliken there on that last lap, but he's trying to run him down. We got a little walk up there. Tire smoke as they're heading into 1, but you got these 5 cars all within a sight of each other.
Yeah, this is the race in the field right now. There's a couple guys that are off a few tenths from each other through the field, but right now inside the top 5, this is the battle. 4 cars. Lane Allen starting to get himself into the picture in that 14, who's currently right behind Tony Solari in the 11. So a few more laps and he might even be there battling. These guys are getting so close to that wall there too as they enter the bus stop. That first little right-hander kink, there's that blue wall that just sits right there just on the outside of the rumble strip. These guys are getting right next to it, almost within arm's reaching distance. You can see these guys a little overusing the rumble strip section there. But that 14, Kenny, I'd watch out him. He's also had a really good long run car, no matter where they've been through this 2022 B season. So that 14 might have a few spots, coming to him real soon.
Yeah, he's been putting on a good long run car, as you mentioned. Same with Birdie Hannah. I'm kind of looking back through as well, and we see those 5 cars sitting from 2nd all the way to 6th place. They're battling it out, and then you have 8th place, pretty much back to 12th, I would say, or still within the sight of each other, and they're all over. You got Chad Lane, who still gets right on the back bumper of Birdie Hannah, depending on what corner they're at, and he's all over his back bumper, and Brandon Elder's right there, but he ran off a little bit, as you mentioned. He's been using that runoff there in turn 1 to get a run, and might have cost him a little bit of time there, but they're still keeping it close too. So within the top 12 or so, we're having 2 good battles going on. We got a good run here by Birdie Hannah as they're coming out of the S's here, so let's see if he tries to make a maneuver on the inside of them. It doesn't look like it. Looks like he's going to stay in line as they head to the bus stop.
Yep, they're going to stay in line this time. That number 4 good save by the 23, absolutely. Just hits the strip a little too hard, makes the car a little too bouncy. These cars are pretty stiff, so when you hit these bumps, the car just throws it to the side. It can't just absorb it through the suspension. So great heads up there by the 23 to keep it straight. Lost only 1 spot to Chad Lane. Yeah,
what a move by Chad Lane there to get around. We saw him go sideways and just went right to the inside of him, said I'll take this. But you mentioned great save for Brody. Had a good amount of speed coming in too, so was just kind of sitting there riding right behind Brian Dublé as they're heading in there, and yep, as you mentioned, the curbs, and just kicked it a little sideways. But good recovery, keep it going. Just have to make it back up. But now Chad Lane, we'll see what he can do, Jeremy, because we saw how he was getting on the back of Birdie Hannah, and he's actually pulling away from Birdie Hannah now as we're heading up through the S's here. So we'll see if he can run down Brian Dublé and take that spot. He's getting a great run through the S's.
He really is, and to go into Birdie Hannah, I mean, when you do that, he had to lock up the tires. Those things are probably shot right now. At least there's too much heat build up. He's got to somehow cool off the tires. Being at a road course, it's really difficult. We see the number 4. Is that Chad Lane that missed the bus? No, it was 18. Hey, he just missed the corner, or was being patient and polite and let some guys go. Either way, 18's had to do a stop to go through the cutoff section of the bus stop. But going back to Birdie Hannah with his tires, he has to get them cooled off, or else that car's going to run a little slicker on this track, especially going uphill through the S's. So he's got to be a little more ginger. try to keep that car in control. We got a pass here. Looks like the Ford Chad Lane goes around the number 37 of Brian Dublé through turn number 7. Completes it entering turn number 8. So that's going to move Chad Lang up to 8th and drops back Brian Dublé to 9th.
Yeah, great run there as he was coming into second to last corner there, and went on the inside, and Brian just kind of pushed up just a little bit to give him some room, and might have just let him go because he saw how much faster Chad was. And Chad's now ahead of him. He's sitting in that 8th spot, going to set his sights on Alex Murphy, who's just a couple seconds in front of him in 7th. And then after that, Jeremy, it's back up to the guys here up in the front, the 5 guys in the top 6 here that are still within a second of each other. Oh, we got almost a synchronized spin as I went back to it. Tony Solari and Jonathan Varanoskis there in the bus stop almost went side by side. They touch actually as they're coming out, as they're heading side by side coming off the corner here.
Yeah, that was pretty smooth there. You're not trying to do that, but the 27 and the 11 are going in style there through the bus stop, getting loose. As soon as they hit the first part of the left kink in the bus stop, great save by both. It costed the 11 a spot to Lane Allen, and now who's got his eyes set on that 27, Varanoskis, to kind of move up a little bit further inside the top 5. And he does take over 5th place, move that 14 up the charts a little bit higher.
Yeah, it actually put Tony Solari down 2 spots right there. So that's 2 times right there in the same exact spot right in that bus stop there that Tony Solari's had some issues, and both times he's lost 2 positions. So we mentioned it a little bit earlier. Without that, he'd be right there running that 2nd spot. But hey, that's how it is sometimes at the road course. You got to be consistent, got to hit it, perfect every time. And Tony Solari, he's, considered in the league one of the top 5 drivers on road courses. So for him to make that mistake twice, it just shows you how difficult these things are to drive sometimes. So he's out there giving it his all, and I'm sure that's not the last of him though, Jeremy. We'll see him. He's still just outside the top 5, but I'm sure we'll see him back in there shortly.
Yeah, kind of similar page. He went through the grass, so he had the virtue of getting his tires cooled off a little bit more. So he came back on the track. They're pretty okay, I would imagine. But he's not going to give up. He's driving in hard into turn 7 on the back bumper of that 14. About 1 car length separates those guys. Still pretty racy inside the top 5. Don't look at first place because he is 15 seconds ahead, just on a whole nother zip code. But outside of that, yeah, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, they're all right there within reaching distance. So, pretty good battle right inside the top 5. That's what I like to see at a road course. Sometimes you'll see these races get really spread out, and it kind of makes it, just kind of keeping an eye on things. But when you got racing like this for a good position right at the top 5, it's hard to turn our eye to look at anybody else.
Yeah, speaking of that, I look back through the field here, and Brody Hanna's going around the 37. Brian Dublé, who pushed it a little hot going into turn 1, had to walk up the tires and went to the outside, and that gave Brody Hanna just enough room to get underneath him. So that's going to put Brody ahead of him back into that 9th position that he lost a couple of laps ago with those tires. Had to cool them off and see, but he's still got a little bit in him. But right ahead of them, Chad Lane, he's still running down Alex Murphy, and he made a good braking check on him there going into 1 as well. So he's trying to run him down. But other than that, Jeremy, it's pretty much spread out throughout the field.
I was watching that 37 as he overshot turn number 1, and I thought to myself, you have so much asphalt to the left-hand side. I know these guys aren't terribly used to using that space because in the official stuff, they give you a 1x for doing it, and it's locked into your race results there for your I rating and safety rating. So, but he had so much space, you could have just let the throttle just, at least halfway, 50% through that part. He might have been fine coming out through exit, but he played it safe, got on the binders a little more, was able to still make the corner no problem, but allowed that 23 to go around. Now he's got to try to recoup that position. He's now right at top 10.
We're side by side coming out of the S's between the 14 and the 11 there. The 11 of Tony Solari had a great run off of 1 there. Was able to get back into the throttle a lot sooner than the 14 of Lane Allen. Was able to take that spot back, so that's going to put him back into the top 5. He's been fighting. He's been gaining spots and then losing them and gaining them back. So, he's going to put Lane Allen in the rear view and look at Jonathan Varanoskis right there in front of him and see if he can run him down for that 4th position. But he's still 2 seconds, Jeremy, not less than 2 seconds outside of 2nd place. That just shows you how tight these guys are in the top 6. Other than Moreau, who's out there just running at his own pace there, right beside him, everyone else is pretty close to each other.
Last lap there in turn number 8, coming to the start-finish line, Richie Coy was able to get around the 42, Kyle Milliken. Billiken got a little loose there, and allowed the 19 just to pass him on the outside. You see second place. Looks like it's exiting pit road, but takes a little, stops the car to let the faster guys go by before he resumes onto the racing surface. So we're seeing at least one person or so hit pit road at this time. So it's right to that point to where if you're doing a two-stop strategy, this is the time to do it. Don't know how the field strategy looks and how much they can run, but we might see these pit stops come up a little sooner.
And looking back through to see who was coming out of pit road and let them go by, there was the 10 car of Ryan Chapman, and he let him go by, being nice and polite about it, and then put the throttle back down, spun the tires, put it right into the inside wall, and had to take a tow back. So that's an unfortunate outcome. Being nice, letting the guys go, and then try to get back on it and spin it out and end your day. So that's not what Ryan Chapman wanted. Unfortunate there circumstances, but we'll probably see him back next week at Daytona.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be back next week at Daytona for sure. Where he hit the wall is basically the same spot where Kimi hit the wall just yesterday in the actual Cup Series, but he tail slapped that side. He might have broken something in the suspension, so that's got to be a lot of repairs regardless. Let's see if he gets back to the track at all. Currently still in the car, so there's that. There's positive there, so hopefully he can at least finish out the race. 17 seconds now separates first and second place on lap number 19, so almost still a second advantage per lap for your race leader, Nicholas Moreau. Second, third, and fourth are still, just a few car lengths off each other. Kyle Milliken's not giving up on Richie Coy after he let him go a few laps prior. Varanoskis still holding a pretty good pace with Tony Solari. These guys are not letting second and third go by.
No, Richie's been battling up there in the top three the whole race. Pretty much it seems like he's been fighting it out. He loses a spot, gain a spot. Now he's sitting there holding that second spot. And Tony Solari, Jeremy, he's running him down as well. He's put Lane Allen in the rear view. He's pulled away from him a little bit. And as I mentioned that, he gets in the wall there coming off the corner. Hopefully that doesn't put too much damage on him and keep him going. But he's been on a tear trying to catch up to the Varanoskis there in the 27. And he's right there. They're all within an earshot of each other as we see the 42, Kyle Milliken, get a little looser as they're heading off of one.
42 is just, I've been quite a few times in the past few laps where his car has just not had the grip that he wants. He's really struggling to find that grip. So maybe he's going to come down sooner than later to get some 4 fresh Goodyears. But yeah, his car is still running pretty fast. Still running in third. Still doing an excellent job. But in comparison to these guys that are now like really hungry trying to get around him. Ooh, the 11 tries to overdrive the carousel entrance, almost gets to the back of the 27 of Varanoskis. Had to check up there, but gets a really good drive off the turn number 6. Exit there. Tony Solari may take a look to the inside here as they come to turn number 7. Looks like he's going to just hold it single file for at least the next corner or two, but he is really hungry to get around this 27 right now.
Yeah, he wants to get around real bad and get back up there to the 42 and try to get right behind his teammate as he's right on the back bumper as they're coming off the corner. That's going to be a great shot here as they're coming down the front stretch. Tony Solari is going to take that. It depends, like you said, if they have enough room, it's what's preferred lane. But yeah, he definitely dives it down in there. He's going to take that spot over. Locks it up a little bit, though, so he's going to use that runoff, as you mentioned. But that's going to put the 27, Jeremy, right back around him. So 27 said, you know what, go ahead and drive it in there, and I'm just going to go back around you before the S's.
Yeah, you guys got a little too happy on the entrance of turn number 1, overshot it. And that time he had to get on the binders. He was headed for that blue wall, so he had to check up. Lost that spot. And all that work that he did in the past like 2 or 3 laps, boom, it's gone. So he's got to do it once more. And he's making a good shot at it coming to the bus stop. Back to the bumper, to the inside, potentially looks into the grass even. 27 gives him the lane if he wants it. The 11 trying to do everything he can, gets a great launch off the corner exit, but just not enough. Let's see if he gets back in turn number 8 and does it again.
Yeah, he definitely has to run. He's getting the speed there, and while this is going on, that's bringing the 14 of Lane Allen right back up on these guys. So it's putting him back in contention. But in the 27's right on the back bumper of the 42 as well. So got a little bit of a jumble up here, and that's going to put Tony Solari looking back to the inside, but the 27's going to go ahead and get right in front of him as well, because this is going to be a nice little dive into the corner. We've got 27 on the inside, 42. Ooh, they're keeping it close and tight, but that might give the advantage to the 11 here, Tony Solari. So he's going to get that run off there, Jeremy, and that's going to put him back in front of the 27 into that 4th position.
Great drive through turn number 1 on the outside for Tony Solari, able to get around the 27. It almost looked like the 27 got a little checked up there from the 42. I thought maybe the 27 of Varanoskis wanted to get around Kyle Milliken, but Kyle hit the brake a little early, caused the 27 to check up as well, and it gave that huge advantage to 11 Tony Solari, who's now on the back bumper of that 42.
We're coming up on some lap cars, Jeremy. We got Steve Loomis and Justin Diltz right in front of these guys. We saw Richie Coy was able to get around him, and now we're going to have this pack of cars. Well, sorry, he got around just the one there, Steve Loomis, so far. But we got this pack of cars coming, Jeremy, so we'll see if Steve, gets which angle he'll take as far as which lane and where these guys will go, and see if it plays a factor at all. But they're coming in a hurry, these three.
They for sure are, and here they go trying to get around Loomis here and have all the space in the world down this front stretch here. That was a great great timing essentially by these guys to get to the 17 out the front stretch. And we see the 11 go deep onto the 42 here entering turn number 1, able to get down to speed this time correctly and makes the pass happen no problem. 3-car links on exit. Now the 27's looking in the bottom of the 42.
It looks like someone hit that blue cone there, sitting right in the front off of turn 1 there. I was wondering what that was. But yeah, that's going to put Tony Solari in top 3, Jeremy. So he's back up there. He's going to try and see if he can get right up on the back bumper of his teammate Richie Coy in a couple laps. He's sitting a couple seconds behind him, but definitely has the car to do it. And these guys behind him, they're going to want to chase him down as well. And looks like someone else just missed the bus stop there. They're going to have to come to another stop. That's the 91 there, Justin Diltz. He's going to have to come to a stop and roll through. And here he goes back again. So costly mistake there on that one.
Yeah, when I was talking about the blue cone, I said it might have been the 18, but I went back and it was the 91. They both have a black and white car. I was unable to tell initially. 91 got loose off of turn number 1, came down and hit the blue cone and just carried it all the way into the S's. And then you said when it gets to the bus stop, overdrives it. So lap 22 having major woes here for the 91 of Justin Diltz.
Yeah, he's going to go to outside. Brody Hannah's going to go by him. So I think he's kind of letting these guys go. Being 1 lap down, doesn't want to get in the way of these guys. But we got some people making pit stops right now, Jeremy. Got a few down pit road. I saw the 10 car there, Ryan Chapman. He came back down, maybe to get some more damage repaired on his car possibly, but he's back down pit road. Martin Grove, we know he's been on there for a while, so Ryan Chapman's still trying to get that car fixed and get back out there.
Yeah, we're coming up close to halfway. We're on lap 24 of 51. So in the next lap and a half, 2 laps, we're going to be at the halfway point. So for that notion, before these guys, well, actually, no, I'm going to keep it a little bit live, a little bit longer. I want to watch these pit stops as they got some people on pit road, the 57. It looks like 31. No, quite a few people. Chad Lang looks like he's going to come down pit road this time. So as pit road heats up, we're going to keep it live until the pit stops are completed. See how everyone cycles through. But one person not to really worry, Nicholas Moreau. 20 seconds is a crazy advantage here for having only 25 laps into this race.
Yeah, especially since he won the last race by almost 22 seconds, and he's pulled such a lead already with the, halfway through the race. And so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. We had only 5 on the lead lap last time, so we'll see how it goes through once cycles, pit stops, everything go through. But he's running a blistering pace. I mean, he's in his own world. We haven't showcased him so much because he's just out, on a Sunday stroll basically by himself and taking off laps. He's still out there, still leading the way. Got a 22-second lead right now. He's almost coming around to complete the lap right now as we speak, where you got Richie Coy, who's sitting about 20-some seconds behind him, just coming out of the bus stop. So that shows the difference of how far away they are from each other.
Yeah, 3 complete corners separate these guys. And a track like Watkins Glen, that's a long distance between one another. So he just got to, take the pit stop super easy, and I think he's going to have this thing all sealed up. But these other guys, though, they're getting pretty racy. They've been racing this entire race, which is awesome to see, and they've been doing it super clean. We're seeing the 11 come down pit road right now. Tony Solari right at the halfway point. Checks into his crew this time around. So everybody else looks like around him. Stay out for the most part. Cycling back to the field. I don't see anybody else coming down pit road. So Lone Ranger number 11 and down to the service of his crew.
Yeah, and I'm watching his speed right now, and I'm not sure if pit road's 40 or 35, but he's kind of been fluctuating between the two. I'll have to check and see that.
40.
But 40, okay, good. He was running a little bit. I was watching. I was like, man, I hope he's running. I hope it's a 40 one. I have to check and see. But yeah, comes down, no problem, wasn't speeding, gets in his pit stall, no problem as well. That's exactly what Tony needs. Kind of gain some of those spots there. And we saw he's got a fast car, so this might be an advantage coming down early and get those fresh tires out and get some blistering laps down and get his pace. But we got some more on pit road as well, Jeremy.
It's like the number 44, Chris Beck, hit his pit box just a couple seconds ago. Waiting on everybody else really to come down. So as this run continues, these guys are going to keep trickling to come through. 44 had a clean stop. Don't see anybody else coming down this time around. So one car here, one car there, kind of spaced out on their own strategies. And these road courses, it's better to come down on your own time. If you can do that, you don't need draft assistance. You don't need anything of that nature. So don't have anybody hold you up. And right now, it looks like 4, Chad Lang making the stop right now.
And it's going to be completely opposite of what we see next week. We're going to see pit stops together with their teammates. You're going to see, you don't want to come down by yourself because you're just not going to have any speed once you get out there with the drafting help. So it's going to be a completely different strategy next week compared to what we got. Oh, we got the 44. Looks like he's going to miss the bus stop there as he was coming in hot side by side with the 90. Sorry, with Chris Curtis of the 98. So those two were coming in hot, and the 44 actually missed that bus stop there.
He sure did. Just come on fresh tires and can't make the braking there coming to the bus stop. So super unfortunate. It's going to cost him a little extra time there. He was running a pretty solid race, I would say, overall. Pretty clean, pretty competitive race. It's got to drop back a little bit. Unfortunate to see. He just kind of, sometimes you have too much grip and you have too much confidence in the car. It looks like that might have been the case. Took this penalty, and now he's continuing to move on forward.
Speaking of penalties, I was mentioning Tony Soler. I was questioning his speed coming down pit road, and it does look like they did catch him for speeding, Jeremy. They had to hold him for 40 seconds, which, it is a good thing that it's a road course, but still 40 seconds, that is big, and that's huge for Tony Solari after coming off of 2 spins, making it up, and now to have this happen. It's definitely not what he wants, and I think we're going to see a little extra fire underneath that 11 Menards Ford right now.
I would imagine he's going to do everything he can to get any spots returned back to him. Being right in the top 5 there, they have such a great run, and these tracks call his name more so than any other ones out there. So when he sees a track like Watkins, Glen, he's like, oh man, this is my time. I'm going to do really good. And to see that kind of penalty, that's huge. That's 40 seconds. That's 2/3 of a lap around this place. You hate to see it, but yeah, I think he's gonna have that fire underneath the seat. He's gonna charge forward and try to get anything he possibly can back.
He lost, it looks like, a good amount of spots there. You can see in front of him 5 cars there that made pit stops with him that were behind him on the pit stops are now in front of him. So yeah, it's gonna be some of the gain, but it's going to be enjoyable to watch him come back through the field because we know he's got the speed. So we'll watch him there. We still got pit stops that's going around. We've got a little sideways coming off of 1 there, but we're still having some pit stops to be made, Jeremy, and still having some battles on the track too because some of these guys are maneuvering through lap traffic and battle on position. So it's making quite a few different battles out here.
Yeah, we're almost to lap number 30 as Nicholas Moreau takes turn number 8 here. And it looks like the 15 is going to come down to the service of his crew as well. Gets down to speed. Clean entrance here for the 15. There's only a handful of guys left that need to pit. We're definitely past the halfway mark, so they're going to have a much faster second half run versus their first half. Let's see if the 19 comes down or tries to lead a lap. I would imagine the 19's going to try to do so. See as he comes through turn number 8, and he does stay out, so he's going to get 1 lap led before he comes down pit road, I would imagine. So kind of extend that point lead just so more coming into Daytona next week for the season finale.
Yeah, that's crucial laps right there because it might only be 1, and he's got to take advantage of it because we see just how much of a lead Nicholas Moreau put out there. But like you said, you got to gain so many points, and if he can sit here where he's at right now, he's already gaining a bunch just on Chuck alone, and then counting some more lap times. That's going to put him pretty far out. Honestly, Jeremy, I think that might put him out of it. It could just be between Brody and Richie as we come down to it, just depending on the outcome of this race. But that might be the Fury Motorsports show that we might be seeing next week. But we'll see how it all plays out. But Richie definitely wants to get that lap win and get 1 extra point.
Yeah, he'll get his provisional, so it'll be 25 points shy of the race leader and wherever Richie finishes. So I am going to say it's going to put him basically 1 in 1,000th of a chance to make anything happen there at Daytona. And right now, Richie, where they sit, I think he has the advantage completely over Brody, so he might have that last race now with a huge sigh of relief. But we'll have to, we still have 21 laps to decide that fate. But Richie Coy sitting awesome in his perspective for this championship finale next week.
Yeah, it's definitely where he wants to be. And, the crazy thing is, too, is he missed 1 race as well. So impressive to see what Richie's doing up here. He took the provisional, but still missing the race, it's going to cost you, and he's still battling it out. So it just shows you how strong of a season he's had. I think he's the only driver that have 10 starts and 10 top 10. So great stat in itself right there.
14 Lane Allen coming down pit road here. He gives up 3rd place to find his crew on lap 31 to get his 4 tires and send it on his way. And we still got a few drivers left before this thing is completely cycled through. The 15, Nicholas Moreau, found himself in a little bit of a traffic here. Just got around the number 11, Tony Solari. Now trying to tackle 44, Chris Beck, as they come through the exit turn number 6 and entering turn number 7. Looks like the 44 is going to get close to his door and a little racy there, but eventually gives the spot up in turn 7. That leaves Richie Coy, which is down pit road right now. One of the last drivers to hit pit road. I'm kind of curious to see where he comes out here, Kenny.
Yeah, me too. And, kind of kicking back to his teammate there, Tony Solari. That's not the sight he wanted to see when he's behind the 15, is him battling for his lap back. He was hoping to be battling for position. And right now, as this cycles back through, it's going to put Nicholas Moreau back into the lead point there. And that puts Tony Solari, the first car, 1 lap down with the leader right in front of him, who's had a blistering pace. And he knows how hard it's... Ooh, as we see Tony's... coming through the S's there as he was coming off. He got it sideways a couple times, and heck of a save there with that amount of speed he was carrying through there. He's having a handful tonight with that car.
Yes, the 3rd time we caught him getting loose, and this time he actually hit the wall with assistance. Just overshot the exit. We don't see that too often where turn 3 going uphill in the S's, you overextend that corner. Could not get the car turned enough, hits the wall, saves it. Really good save by him. Doesn't look like any suspension damage has been found on that 11, so looks like he is able to continue no problem. Richie did exit pit road just fine, so his stop is completed, and he's got the 27, Jonathan Varanoskis, right on his tail end here, so this is a current battle for 2nd place.
Yeah, and we're going to see here, once this lap kind of goes through for everyone, where everyone cycles through, still going to put Nicholas Moreau back on the point with, he came in with about a 24-second lead as they came down. The pit stop started coming down as he was the one that came down. So we'll see where he kind of cycles through once everything's all said and done. We got James Wallace still. Not sure if James came down pit road. I have to take a look and see, but he's right now scored in that 2nd spot, and they're going to put Richie in the 3rd position.
Yeah, James Wallace is the last one to come down. Right now we see the 47 and 37 teammates Ryan Hedrick and Brian Dublay making their only stop of the race. So that's going to leave James Wallace, basically your last one to come down pit road. Since we basically have everything cycled through, I think this is a great time to take our midway break. A little later than midway, but either way. We're going to go picture-in-picture mode with you guys. Stay tuned. We'll be back with you after a few short messages.
And this car is the worst vibration that I've ever had, and the shifter's broken again.
Are you ready to chase the moonlight? Community-based and talent-driven, Moonlight Speed Concepts has what you need to take your iRacing experience to the next level. Founded by passionate owners that care about the community and housing some of the top setup builders and drivers on the platform, Moonlight Speed Concepts offers custom paints, driver coaching, and setups for dirt, asphalt short track racing, and eNASCAR competition. Partnered with top brands in both real world and simulation. Follow us on Facebook or visit moonlightspeed.com and find out why these businesses chase the moonlight and why you should too. Moonlight Speed Concept, where all we chase is moonlight.
Welcome back to full screen coverage for the Nerd TV broadcast of the Full Throttle Sim Racing Series, Mach1 Performance Cup Series. And right now, currently on lap 37 of scheduled 51, so it's about 15 laps until this thing's all done. Mr. Nicholas Moreau, after pit stops, have fully cycled through. Kenny, he's got a 34.5 second lead doing 36 laps. That's still almost an entire second per lap advantage over the second fastest guy on the track, which is right now Jonathan Varanoskis. Great to see his name up there. And he's actually pulled away a little bit from Richie Coy. He's got over a second and a half advantage on that 19. And then Lane Allen, currently sitting in fourth position all by his lonesome here, going through the bus stop now. And around the top five, Kyle Milliken. So we got some new faces up here in the top five.
Yeah, a little bit spread out, a little different. We saw Varanoskis go past Richie there in the last, before the commercial break there, right before the S's, and yeah, he was able to gain on him a little bit, and it kind of looks like Richie might be coming back on him a little bit as well, so that's going to be a battle for second that we'll have to keep an eye on as this race comes to an end, because we saw how Richie's car kind of came in towards the later part of the run, last run, so we might be seeing the same thing. But yeah, Lane Allen right in front of Kyle Milliken by 3 seconds, so that's a good spot for him running that top five. And you know, Chad Lane, he's sitting in 7th place, and he's got a fast car as well, but he's got a couple cars around him. Jeremy's got James Wallace right in front of him, and Alex Murphy right behind him, so he's going to try and maneuver in front but also hold him off behind him.
Pretty good battle here for just outside the top five. We got 4 cars, 17 is 1 lap down, letting everyone go by there on the straightaway. Very smart move there from the 17. Yeah, Ford Chad Lang been running pretty strong here. James Wallace, one of the last ones to pit, and somehow was able to take full advantage of it. He might have taken a 2-tire stop. I wasn't paying attention to what the crew did there, but he was not just outside the top five. So I'd imagine it was a 2-stop or 2-tire rather, or just fuel only. Allowed him to get up close to the top five, which, you know, we've seen a lot of strategy from this 67, which is played really well for him at times, and sometimes it's bit him in the tail. I think even last week was the last time he tried it, in which it put him, even fourth position, I think is where he finished. But this time around, I think it's going to be a huge benefit for him.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be a great payoff. He's sitting there running 6, definitely top 10. Is sitting 10th place. His teammate is, 6 seconds or so back from them as they're coming off the final turn right now. Turn 8 as they're heading into turn 1. So he's got a whole front stretch ahead of them there until 10th place. So, these laps are ticking down as well. So they're coming to a wire. But you see Chad Lang, Jeremy, he's still making that same runoff in turn 1 work for him, getting that speed. And he's gaining so much as they go through the S's here on these guys. And he's trying to pull it off right now on James Wallace. And I know he's sitting, almost 10 seconds back of Kyle Milliken, but if he wants to gain any ground on him here within these last 12 laps or so, he needs to get around James Wallace to try and do anything.
Watch those 4 right now go through the bus stop. Just doesn't even care that the rumble strips are there. Hits the grass on the back half of each rumble strip, exiting the bus stop. Makes me really just want to. I've not done a league race at Watkins Glen in so long myself. I just really want to get out onto this track and start racing with these guys so I can run this line that Chad Lang is running. It just looks really entertaining from our perspective, and I think it'd be more fun if I was sitting in that seat. Maybe I have to work that in a little bit later. But yeah, that 4 is using every ounce of the racing surface up, and it's working out for him. It's doing pretty well. Currently running in 7th place.
Yeah, lost a little bit there off of 8 as they're coming down the front here, but we'll see him gain a lot back into 1 as he's been driving it in turn 1 because he's been using that runoff. So as we see there, gained a little bit of ground. Actually, he kicked it off a little bit there. Once he hit the rumble strip, he kicks it out sideways to that excess there, but not as big of a run that he did last time. But he's still making his way up through there. But right behind him, Jeremy, Alex Murphy, he's right behind him, and then Brody Hanna, he's coming, making his way back in here. So he's got a couple of contenders behind him, and Brody's trying to move up. He's been sitting about 9th place this whole race, and that's where he's sitting now. But he sees 3 spots in front of him and knows he can get them.
Brody Hanna has 11 laps to pass these guys. Right now, he's 6 spots behind his teammate Richie Coy. And without Chuck here, the 23 and the 19, that's your championship battle. Coming into this race, 17 points difference. If Brody can pass these 3 guys, as an example, it moves him up to 6th place, which is only 3 points shy of Richie. Now, what that means is that puts him back into contention when it comes to Daytona by a slim margin, but it still puts him in contention. If you were to finish right now in 9th place, it's 23, 24 points going to separate those guys as they were to finish right now. And they would need all 24, 25 cars to show up for Brody to have any kind of chance. So Brody really needs this few extra points here if he can get around Alex Murphy, Chad Lang, and James Wallace.
And there's a good chance. I mean, Daytona typically brings out a lot of drivers because it's one of those races where pretty much anyone has a chance. I just got to be at the right place at the right time. So we could see a big field again next week. I mean, we got 25 that were in here. I think we got 23 that started the race. So we can definitely see that again next week, if not a couple more. So the possibility is still there. But, Richie sitting in 3rd place right now. We'll see if he can run down the 27 there. If not, that's still, 6 spots. So that's still quite a bit there.
Quick shout out to the chat. Jeff Brown, giving a shout out. Love watching you guys. Appreciate the comment, man. Very good to hear the feedback there in the chat system. If you're watching on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and wherever you're finding us, be a part of the chat system. We'll shout you out for sure. I want to go back to the 15 because I'm just amazed by what this guy is doing, Mr. Moreau. 40-second advantage over 2nd place. Now, right now, he is now crossing the line to enter lap 43. If you go back to the 27 at that same exact moment, he's in the center of the bus stop. That's turn 5. So just crazy amount of difference. That's almost a half a track, or actually it is over half a track between 1st place and 2nd place. And that's not by mistake. That's just purely off of speed around this track, which we rarely would see anything like that. I see Nicholas Moreau going around the 47 here, going through the bus stop, or at least attempting it, over Ryan Hedrick, who's currently in 10th place. That's going to put the 10th place car 1 lap down.
Yeah, that's going to, like you just mentioned, put the 10th place 1 lap down, and he's trying to do the same thing he did at Sonoma there and tick off as many as he can. And there's not you know, he's got 6 seconds until he gets to Brody Hanna there. So we still got time, plenty of laps left, but we're going to have a battle here still going on with these guys up front here. That's going to slow him up a little bit more too and bring Nicholas closer to him. But the Ford was trying to make a look on the inside of James Wallace there in turn 8. Wasn't able to make the pass, but as we saw going into turn 1, he's been driving in there pretty deep as he's going to get right on the back bumper of the 67. Right on the inside now, the 67. Almost puts it around. He's going to lose some time there, and James Wallace is going to say, thank you, I'm going to take this away and keep on going with Alex Murphy right there as well.
Four got loose trying to avoid the 67. At the same time, you saw the Alex Murphy in the 31 overshoot the corner, lock up the brakes, show some smoke coming out of the front tires there. So a little bit of action going on through turn number 1, and that just brings Brody Hanna right to the back of the 31. Bundles up the 4. The 4 has a little bit of issue going through the bus stop there. So these guys within a blanket now, trying to figure it out for 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Yeah, it's been a tight little battle between all of these guys here, and it hasn't stopped ever since the pit stops when they all cycled through. They've been kind of even there, and as you mentioned with James Wallace, it seems like he did take a 2-tire pit stop, and he's been able to hold off these guys who I believe took 4 tires. So good strategy call on his part, and holding up right now and keeping these guys behind him. Is kind of looking through the field there. Richie losing ground on the 27 there, Jonathan. So I'm not sure he's gonna be able to make that up that ground there with the last couple of laps that we have, because that's almost a 2.5, almost 3 second difference right now. So things are looking good for the 27 to get on the podium right now. But the battle right now, Jeremy, is sitting just outside the top 5.
Yeah, if he continues this up for another 7 laps or so, we're going to be able to talk to Jonathan Varanoskis, I do believe, for the first time here in the Nerd booth. So sitting really nice here in 2nd place. Put on a great show for Rumble Racing. I know we had the shout out earlier in the race from Simon Magnan. I'm sure he's getting really excited here watching that 27 do his thing around Watkins, Glen, and can't confirm it will be his first time in the booth if we do get to talk to him. So it'd be kind of cool to see a new face here in the top 3.
Yeah, I think the last time he pulled off a victory was in the trucks. I think we had some difficulties one night, and he was able to bring it home. So it'll be nice to get him up in the booth, have a word with him. But still great battle going on. The 4 car, Chad Lane, is trying his hardest to get around the 67 of James Wallace. I mean, he's driving that thing all over the place, trying to find a hole, trying to make it stick, make some moves. He's going about a lap or so without doing anything, let his tires cool off, and he's making that run again. So he's driving the heck out of that car, Jeremy. He's trying to make it work any way that he possibly can. His S's is the best run that he gets, but he's just not able to complete it once they get to the exit.
Yeah, just a little bit of a struggle there, and if he can figure that out, he still has enough time to make that pass happen, no problem. He's getting a really good run here through the X of the S's here, entering the bus stop, turn number 5 there, side by side, and he actually makes it happen heavy on the brakes, passes the 67 James Wallace. That's going to clear Chad Lang into 6th place. We should see him take off here as 67 starts to fall back with the tires. I think he had a 2-tire stop, which is why the speed's not as strong there, Critterby.
Yeah, if we were just mentioning needing that speed off the S's there, and he was able to capitalize and pulling away from him. So as long as he doesn't make any mistakes, he should be able to capitalize and gain some ground on the 67. But he needs to kind of get away from him if he can, because there is quite a few drivers behind them. All it takes is one mistake, and he's going to lose a bunch of ground. And not too far behind them, Jeremy, is our race leader, Nicholas Moreau. I mean, he's sitting right behind all these guys. He's right on the back bumper now, Brody Hanna. So he's made his way up to this pack.
And once again, this is not by accident. This is just purely off of speed from this 15, able to clear the top 10 at least 1 lap down. And now he's going to be working quickly on this group of cars. Looks like Tony Solari, pretty heavy impact. Getting reports in turn number 1. You're going to watch it here on the replay. But the 11 hit the wall pretty hard here. Missed the braking point. I don't know what happened exactly. Just smashed it head on. Parks the car. That car is done for this evening. Hate to see that from the guy who's running in the top 5 all race long.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to see that happen. And it looks like he got into the back of Brian Dublé there as they were heading into turn 8. That's what started the first bit of damage that he had there. And then, he carried it down into turn 1. And I'm not sure what the damage that he had. He just wasn't able to hold on to it. But that finished him off. And this is just not the night that Tony won to have tonight.
Now, I was actually kind of going back and looking at the stats of the car as it was entering the corner, and I didn't see any brake lockup. I didn't see a huge drastic change in speed. It almost looked like the wheel almost went disconnected, turned the wheel a little bit, but yeah, there's no brakes hitting that wall, so I don't know if there was an internet connection or a technical issue on his computer side, but it knocked the 11 out of the race with about 4 laps to go. What a solid performance there by Tony Solari, and just to end that way is just a huge shame. But going back to the lead, it looks like the 15 is able to clear all these guys except for the number 4, and he is about 2 corners away from doing so. Me and you had this talk, Kenny, going through commercial break, and we were kind of asking ourselves how many cars will be a lap down when this thing's said and done, because that 15's so fast. I said maybe 8th place, but that's already been knocked out. And I think you said 6th, if I'm not mistaken, and if he passes him, which is going to be in the next couple corners, it's going to be 6 cars remaining on the lead lap.
Yeah, that's going to put Chad Wayne 1. That's going to actually bring him to 5 cars there. Kyle Milken's going to be the next car that's not, 1 lap down. So top 5, kind of looking like Sonoma, just like last time. Was able to carry it over. And yeah, just going back to Tony Solari, it could have been one of those things too where we've seen it before. I've done it before. I don't know about you, but just one of those nights where you're like, yep, the car, he got into that back of the 37 there, and that just junked the car before he even got to 1, and he might have just said, you know what, let's just send this thing out with a bang and just drop the hammer and put it off into the wall there and ended his night. But yeah, unfortunate for Tony there. But back to Nicholas Moreau, Jeremy, he's putting on a blistering pace. We saw it at Sonoma, and now we're seeing it here at Watkins Glen. I mean, he's just got these road courses down. I think he came in 15 minutes. I think he was the last one to join in practice. Comes in 15 minutes to go, and then runs the fastest lap, qualifying, dominating race. So he's just got these road courses figured out.
And they're complete different road courses, too. It's not like you're going from a 1.5-mile super speedway to a 1.5-mile super speedway. It's a complete different change. It's a lot faster track, a lot less corners, a lot faster straightaways, longer straightaways. Corners are, faster. Just everything about this track is much faster, and able to maintain this kind of momentum from Sonoma to Watkins Glen. And actually, I think his car's a little bit faster than what it was at than Sonoma. So he's definitely, like you said, he's got this thing figured out, and he's got 2 laps left before he can safely take the checker flag with his 43-second lead.
Yeah, safely. I mean, he can just creep around here. But I'm going to look through, Jeremy. We got Richie Coy and Lane Allen. Those two are pretty close to each other. I mean, we're coming to a couple laps left. As you mentioned, 2 laps to go. And Lane Allen's right on the back of Richie Coy. And that's, Brody wants to see this happen. Richie does not, because that's going to bring those two a little bit closer. That just put them about a 4-point difference, which is 21 points. So there could still be a chance if Lane gets around and heading into Daytona, Jeremy, as far as where they're sitting now. But this might be the only battle that we're going to see coming to the end of this race is between battling for 3rd place here.
That's true. And I want to go to Tony Solari. He did go to the chat system, and I think you hit the nail on the head there, Kenny. He said, had a meatball because of the accident. So I said, F it, I was done. And he went out with a bang. So what corner to do that? Because you're way off the racing surface. You're not going to affect anybody's day of doing that. So just smashed it into the wall and called it a night.
Yeah, I had the feeling that might be. I've been there a time or 2 myself, so I understand his frustration. I'm definitely not as fast as Tony Solari here on these road courses, but I totally understand the frustration there with trying to be a dominant performance and have the dominant car and just the kind of have the night like this. Not what he wanted, but we'll see him next season on these road courses, and he'll be back to that dominating fashion. And we got a couple laps left, Jeremy. I mean, we're getting down to the nitty gritty here, and we still got a couple battles. It's just that one there, actually, for the top 3, and then kind of looking through the field, everyone else is spaced out just enough. So other than watching Moreau kind of finish this thing off, I'm going to watch the 14 and the 19 here and see who comes out on top between the 2.
We got just a couple corners left. This is the white flag presented by Mach1 Performance. I'm only 6 corners late on that, no problem. But the 15 has 2 corners left before he has completed this race. All 51 laps belong to this guy in the 15 Transit machine here as he comes to the back bumper. The 57, will he let him stay in front, or will he take that spot? And he lets him have it. So the 15 coming to the start finish line for the final time. Checker flag is out. This race is presented by Nicholas Moreau of Moreau Motorsports. Dominant fashion, and I think that's his 3rd win of the season.
Yeah, great win for him. And I think he led all but the one lap that Richie got there as he came down pit road. So wasn't able to get them all, but was damn close to it. And speaking of Richie, we got Lane Allen there. Looks like the 37. There was a purple car there that was spun around there at the bus stop, and I'm not sure if that was the 37 or not, but he disconnected. But that might have threw off Lane Allen there because he's slowed down a tremendous amount there, and that was able to pull Richie Coy ahead as Jonathan's going to take that second spot here as he's coming off the last corner. But it looks like Richie's going to possibly hold on to that third place as well.
Yeah, those Chris Curtis there off of turn number 6, exited the carousel, got loose and spun out, and that's what you saw there on the backstretch portion of the track. So he's now coming across the line to kind of complete the lap here, as everybody else does so as well. But huge shout out to Varanoskis finishing P2. We're seeing guys like Kyle Milliken in the top 5, and pretty good race. And minus, Nicholas Moore on his own zip code, there was a lot of battles throughout this whole entire race. Glad to see it. And as these guys do finish crossing the line, I think we had the last car do so now. It's going to allow us to give you guys the unofficial grid results until these guys get the points figured out for any penalties. Nicholas Moreau brings it home P1. Jonathan Varanoskis is going to take home second place. Richie Coy is going to finish in third. Lane Allen, top 4 in fourth place. Kyle Milliken does round out that top 5. Chad Lang in 6th, 1 lap down, and so is everybody else. Alex Murphy, 7th. Brody Hanna, 8th place. 9th place goes to James Wallace, and to round out tonight's top 10, Ryan Hedrick.
Coming home in 11th after that first lap mayhem there was Wayne Grossi, going to be in 11th position. 12th is Chris Beck. 13th is going to be Chris Curtis. 14th, Josh Mayu. 15th is Brian Dublé. 16th is going to be Steve Loomis. 17th, Brandon Elder. 18th with a rough night is Tony Solari. 19th is Joshua Johnson. Coming home in 20th is Justin Diltz. 21st, Brian Bliss. 22nd, Ryan Chapman. And rounding out the field in 23rd is Martin Garreau.
Tonight's field, and that leaves one race next week, and we're going to try to start talking to some people that are and deservings of coming to the booth, finishing in the top 3. This time it's going to be third place finisher Mr. Richie Coy. Mr. Richie, got a copy.
What's up, nerds?
Hey, man, congratulations, man, on that third place. I know first place was not even allowed for anybody else to touch, but second place on back, you had a pretty good battle there for the most part. Second, third place there, but looks like Varanoskis found something on the setup, able to kind of take advantage there. What was the difference between second and third place for you?
Well, I'd like to say I got second in the GT class tonight. Prototypes were out. Full second ahead of us, but he picked up the pace. He was able to pick up the pace at second stint, and I picked up my pace, but he had it just a little bit more than I did. And I'm kind of points racing a little bit tonight. I wanted to get through tonight with the best finish we can, with as little incidents as we could, because these races can definitely bite you.
Yeah, you mentioned the points race, and we were talking about that just before this race started, and you were in a close battle with Chuck Sweeting, who didn't make the race tonight. So it was Brody Hanna that you were sitting 17 points ahead, and I think once we come out of here, you're going to be sitting at 23, which is almost enough to seal it. So great points night for you there. And how are you feeling about next week at Daytona? I mean, I know it's going to be up in the air, but it's going to be awfully nice going in with the 23-point lead right there.
Well, here's some information that maybe people didn't know. I'm going on vacation, and I will not be here next Monday.
Oh,
So,
all right.
I will get a provisional, which means I will get some points next week, but it's still doable for somebody to sneak up there.
Well, that's going to be a game changer.
I have the same issue on Wednesday night. I have a real race on Wednesday up at Seekonk, Massachusetts. And I have I think a 17-point lead going into the truck race on Wednesday, and I will not be there. I'll have another provisional there as well.
All right. Well, the points battle is going to be super tight here at this point. So Brody's going to, depending on where he finishes, he might have a chance. Chuck Sweeting, if he can somehow, come back from that, it's going to be
it's going to make it interesting.
I mean, I haven't seen a championship winner not be present at the last event. So you got to pick an honorary person to come into the booth so we can at least talk to them to present the championship for you.
Well, yeah, it would be either. Oh, let's pick Tony for that one.
There we go.
It's still got a race. Fortunately, I do get a provisional next week, so I will get some points. So it's I'll get 1 point below last place.
There we go. So, but hopefully everything works out in your favor, so you can still come P1 in the championship standings. But we're going to be sad, and it's gonna be tough to not watch you on the track there, go for that gold. But needless to say, floor is yours, man. Who would you like to thank for the last time this season for you?
Well, I want to congratulate Jonathan Varanoskis on a fantastic run tonight. I think that might be his first podium. I think you guys might get to talk to him for the first time tonight. Congratulations to Nick. He was just on rails in that prototype he was running tonight. And thank you to my team. Thank you to Tony putting up a great setup here. And thank you to you guys. And we'll see everybody. I'll see you guys hopefully next season.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. We'll see you in about 2 weeks or so as the season C comes out here. Should be a fun one. Congratulations once again, man. Top 3.
All right, guys. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Sir. That was your third place finisher, Mr. Richie Coy. Now it's time to bring in someone we have not talked to before, Mr. Jonathan Varanoskis. You got a copy?
Yes, how are you?
Doing pretty good up here, man. Congratulations on P2. First time we get to bring you into the booth, so welcome here. You're welcome. That second half of the run was quite stellar. Much faster car than Richie Coy, and I knew you were up there in the top 5 in practice. You did well. Qualifying, you did well. So it wasn't a huge surprise, but nonetheless, welcome here and walk us through your race tonight. What was the strategy and how much work do you have to do in that car?
Yes, I wasn't expected to be here tonight, but they are a fast guy here. So my strategy was to go my own pace, and we'll see. Tony Solare and Richie Coy, they had a fast car tonight. They gave me a little bit of struggle at the beginning of the race, but I made it through. I was kind of surprised after the pit cycle to pass Richie. I think he took 4 tires on his pit. I went full race with my tire, so I kind of caught it there when on his fresh tire. It was very tricky on fresh tire, so yes, very happy for this second place.
Now, did you make any adjustments there coming down pit road after that first run, or did you kind of just keep it all the same setup and just had that open air that was able to let you pull there on Richie just those couple seconds ahead to keep that second place ahead of him?
Yeah, no, I didn't make any adjustment. I was feeling comfortable with the car, so I didn't want to miss that. So I keep it that way, and it went pretty well.
I would say so for sure. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say the same thing. I think it paid off as well because that was a great run there, and it was nice to see you up here in the podium getting that second place. It was a great run that you put out there.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, it was excellent performance there from the 27. I know your teammates are cheering for you in the chat system, so making some team owners happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go, right? Rumble Racing P2, boys. But to close out the interview, man, we don't get to talk to you. So anybody that you'd like to thank tonight before you head on out and celebrate with the team?
Yeah, I would like to thank my teammate for we had a long week practicing together, so I'd like to thank them for that. And thank you two, for your good job with the streaming. It's pretty good.
Yeah, appreciate the kind words there, sir. And once again, congratulations on P2. We're going to let you go and go ahead and celebrate with your team, man.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And that was Jonathan Varanoskis finishing second place tonight. And now the guy who was racing the only prototype in the field, dubbed by Richie Coy, is going to be none other than Nicholas Moreau, who brings home, I have to correct myself, the 4th time P1 this season. Mr. Nick, you got a copy?
Yes, sir, boys.
Congratulations once again. Richie Coy said that you brought the prototype out and everybody was running in the GT class. Basically, that's how we saw it too. How were you able to get the job done so easily out there tonight?
Well, I cannot say more than no mistake at all. So everything went well. Strategy has been very good for me. Pace was good. Car was good. No mistake. So I got 0x. So all good for me tonight.
Yeah, it looked like you were just out in another zip code. I mean, you were so far ahead of them. You're already in Daytona for next week. it was a great run by you there, and yeah, it didn't look like you made any mistakes, and just you confirmed that you didn't get any incident points is just an amazing feat in itself after the run that you made, and kind of made it look like Sonoma there almost led all the laps and put everyone beside the top 5 lap down as well. So seems like the car was just very comfortable tonight.
Yeah, I walked more than before at that track, and I was very comfortable with the car. I would say pretty easy to drive, so it's you can be fast with no mistake, and the car is on rail, so it's more easy to keep on the track. And yeah, so the car was very good. It's more easy.
Yeah, it definitely. I was watching you, from time to time, and that car was definitely looking stout. It had no issues, at least visually, on my end whatsoever. Congratulations once again for the 4th win now this season. One last question before we send you out. What's your thoughts on Daytona?
Well, I did not race with that car on the super speedway yet, so I'm gonna test some dev setups. I will see, because I'm not in the championship, so I don't want to wreck someone for the points. So I definitely, my expectation is only to test some stuff on the car for next week.
There we go. I wish you the best of luck for next week. Before we send you out, any final thoughts? Anyone who'd love to give a shout out to?
Yeah, so I will say thanks to EasyWay Pro, Transit, La Watkins Agricole, and Lassie Sport. Thank you guys, and see you next week.
All right. Yeah, appreciate it. Where's man? Have a good night.
Thank you guys.
That was Nicholas Moreau there, P1 for the 4th time this season. Excellent performance by that whole team, really, to get Mr. Nick up there in victory lane once again. But Ken, that's going to bring us to a close here for the most part. What was your thoughts overall for Watkins Glen?
Dominating. I mean, we just saw it right there. We heard about it. I mean, he didn't get 1X at all. Kept it on.
Crazy.
The car was on a rail. That's unbelievable to hear that. I mean, you would think at least 1X, but nope. Just consistent, fast. Can't ask for anything else. But other than that, I mean, great battles over the track, I'd have to say. I mean, all over throughout the track. Even coming down to the end, we still had a battle between Richie and Wayne Allen there. So, it wasn't short of any action by any means. It just he was out in his own little zip code, but still overall great race.
Yeah, I know Chad Lane can't say that. I imagine he probably had like 20 plus X's using every ounce of this track up. So kind of curious what that number would look like, but no reason to pull up the schedule. We know next week's Daytona, this is the season finale, and breaking news with Richie Coy not making next week for the 2nd time. Will the points championship winner miss 2 races, still claim gold, or is Chuck Sweeting or Brody Hanna going to win the Daytona race coming up next week, and will they take home the gold? It's now really, it's a 3-way battle, essentially. So who knows, right? It's going to be really close down to the wire, even with someone that's not even going to be present. So kind of a little bit of curveball there, but let's start thanking our sponsors one last time before we bring this thing to a complete close. Thank you, FTSR, for letting us do this for you every Monday and continuing into 2022C with the Cup Series once again for their 10 race scheduled to round out the season's end. Be a part of the action at FTSR.net. Mach1 Performance Cup Series sponsor. If you need a cart, need some fabrication work done on the local side with dirt or pavement, oval racing, these guys got your back. Mach1 Performance on Facebook. Facebook.com/Mach1 Performance. Sim Racing Points, sponsor for the Truck Series every Wednesday, and a sponsor of the Nerds here. They keep all of our points professionally done. Looks great on a full page website layout, or if you like widgets, however you want to display it, they're going to make your league look professional. Check their entire pricing out at simracingpoints.com. Martin Sports. Check out martinsports906.com. They got a lot of different apparel options, custom orders with full dye t-shirts to make your team look professional, whether it's on the virtual world or doing a softball team or whatnot. These guys got your back, and we got a great discount code for you. Super Nerd. It's going to get you 25% off. Shout out to iRacing iFlag at iRacingIFlag.com. It's a little 4x6 3D printed unit. Sits on the desk and makes your it basically completes your sim rig. Gives you all the different notifications in a visual setting on your desk rather than the little flag that iRacing gives you top left corner. So it's a lot clearer of what's going on around the track. You're going to find that at iRacingIFlag.com. Super Nerd this time 15% off. Thank you to the Butt Kicker for being the audio partner for the Nerditudes. Head over to thebuttkicker.com and anything you pick up there, Nerd TV, 20% off your entire purchase. Lastly, shout out to Moonlight Speed and the House of Speed.us. Both these guys cover the paved and dirt setups across the board for us over here. And they've given us some much needed wins, at least for me, for sure. It's definitely helped me on the asphalt side more so than the dirt. I just need dirt help overall. You can't buy talent there, but you can definitely buy a fast car. So that's at moonlightspeed.com and then houseofspeed.us. And then lastly, Nerd Focus, the Think Drink, 10% off when you Super Nerd at the website nerdfocus.com. Only 2 flavors, both taste amazing. Green is sugar, blue is not. So whatever your fancy is there, either one's going to do great for you. That's at nerdfocus.com. All right, it's going to bring a close to Watkins Glen for us. And then it's 1 week left, Daytona. And then there's not really a break after Daytona. And the following week, it's going to bring you back live for the final 10 races for a 2022 C. They kind of following out the real NASCAR schedule. But until then, you guys, as always, stay safe out there and get your nerd on.
Later, nerds.